The Denver Broncos are mollywopping the Carolina Panthers. They are taking care of business like they should be, and we are going to be breaking it all down right here during the course of this fourth quarter play-by-play and the post-game reaction. I'm going to have to eat my words. Literally, I got a special delivery of Uncrustables coming in from some special guests. They're going to be delivering Uncrustables to me. The story is that the average NFL team eats, actually, the Denver Broncos in general eat like an absurd amount of Uncrustables, and it's pure sugar and goodness. I hope. I've never actually had an Uncrustable. So I got some those coming. We're going to break down just the amazingness of this Denver Broncos team. It looks like Jaquan just picked off Bryce Young again, which is fantastic. We're going to break it all down. And I can't do it myself with a mouthful of peanut butter. So I'm bringing my main man in, diehard Denver Broncos fan. Also does some really cool stuff. His second favorite team, maybe now his favorite team, is the San Francisco 49ers. We're bringing him to the stage. Nate, my man, what's good?
What's up, man? Hey, the Denver
doing?
Broncos are killing it right now.
Dude, I told you, man, like we had a ton of check-ins, right? About like, hey, the national media is saying they're going to be bad. Like you're saying they're not. Who's right? And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, these Denver Broncos are for real. And it's like proven out exactly like I said, right?
The Denver Broncos were picked before the season, as I'm watching Jaleel just cut it open right now. The Denver Broncos were picked before the season at 31st in the NFL, right? Yep. Second worst a team in the NFL. Second only to the team we're playing against right now, the Carolina Panthers. And there is a mountain. I mean, the great divide sits between the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos right now. So it's hysterical. And I got to give you all the credit in the world. I mean, you're not wrong. I literally asked you, hey, man, everybody's saying that the Broncos are going to be trash this season. You're speaking a lot of positive vibes out there. You put a lot of positive vibes. How is it going to stack up? And you were right. You're absolutely right.
So I mean, and it wasn't me. Like I wasn't manufacturing anything. I truly was just being like, hey, Sean Payton has convinced his boss, the richest owner in sports, to go out and say this. So either like he's gonna make the Walmart owner look super foolish, or he's gonna prove out to be right. So like it really was just channeling what all these dudes were saying, and like, hey, there's a big divide there. Between what Sean's saying about this team and what the national media is saying about this team. Yeah. So, okay, Nate, help me with this. A lot of people are going to just already, and I see it all over Twitter, as Bo Nix drops back to pass and has Lucas Kroll open. It looked like Lucas Kroll got hurt on that field goal, that fake field goal, and he's back in. And I think that's a great sign. Great connection there from Bo to Lucas Kroll. And you remember him in the preseason, Sean Payton said, hey, everyone's going to be looking at their media guide saying who's number 85, but they're not going to be asking for long. And you're starting to see that kind of pop off here. But Nate, why
you called it big for him right there too? You called that a long time ago, and you can tell in this football game, the tight end play was a huge part of their scheming. Like the game planning for this game, you have to give a lot of credit to Sean Payton because they saw a huge weakness in this Carolina Panthers defense and clearly took to the air with tight ends several times in the first half, and it was an absolute game changer the way that they handled that aspect of the football game.
Yeah, man. Well, and coming into the game, Carolina was the worst team in the NFL at stopping the run. It not only just overall yards they gave up a game, but then how much they gave up per carry. So I thought, like, if I'm not a betting dude, but if I was, I would have hammered Javonte over. And it's almost like Carolina has kind of manufactured a stacked box to stop the run. And so we're like, fine, we'll throw with you all day. And Bo Nix just absolutely dominating. And you hear the announcers be like, it just gives me vibes of Drew Brees. And we told you guys, like, Bo Nix is going to get more and more comfortable each and every week. And that's what we're seeing. And watch out, because our defense clearly will keep us in every single game this year. We saw how beatable the Ravens were today. We see the Chiefs. I mean, last time I checked, they're barely up on the Raiders. So like the playoffs are very much still a wide open thing for the Broncos. Love that we are about to go 2 games above 500. And there's a lot of times as a Broncos fan with games like this that you shouldn't win, that you pull out, and or that you should win, that we found a way to lose it. And that didn't happen today. And I just love how dominant we've looked from that first fumble. what were your reactions, just overall reactions to this game, Nate?
For me, a lot of this starts with the defensive line. I think the storyline coming into the game for me is the biggest divide between these two football teams, although I think there are several big divides. And I want to come back to what you said about rookie quarterbacks. I think there's an interesting perspective as a 49ers fan that, a lot of conversations that are going on in the Bay Area right now about how good Brock Purdy is and, looking at some of these rookie quarterbacks and how he stacks up. I think it's an interesting conversation. But to answer your question, as I'm jotting these notes down here, I want to make sure I get to, and I'm trying to half keep an eye on the football game. Coming into the game, the Denver Broncos are second in the league with sacks. Okay. They've got, I crushed some numbers, guys. I'm not kidding. This is crazy. They have 5 guys on the defensive line: Cooper, Benito, Allen, Franklin Myers, Sternad, 5 guys that have more sacks than the highest sack holder for the Carolina Panthers. So, and I say that because as a 49ers fan, I'm watching a team that's supposed to be incredible on the defensive line. And there are rumors between the Denver Broncos and the 49ers making a move for DJ Jones. They're getting him back into the Bay Area. I only say all of that because, watching the Broncos, I'm married into a Broncos family. I've been living in the Broncos country now for 15 years, something like that. And so I watch a lot of Broncos games, and watching their defensive line, I think right now, I told you after the first game of the season against the Seahawks, I told you this is a top 5 defensive line right now. Like, the Denver Broncos are no joke on the defensive front. And that's something that you've seen what happens for Broncos country when they have a fantastic defensive line and get pressure on the quarterback quickly, i.e. Super Bowl 50. So I'm not trying to spell Super Bowl rumors. I'm not trying to make that connection to the Super Bowl right now. Long way to go. You just want to focus on the regular season right now. But the Panthers are 31st in the league on a defensive line when it comes to sacks. And the Denver Broncos are second when it comes to sacks and have 5 guys that are absolutely kicking butt compared to one guy who can't even get above those 5 dudes. So, and other teams in the league, like as a 49ers fan, I'm looking at the Denver Broncos and I'm like, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. Big play just happened.
Gorgeous pass there from Cortland Sutton. Thing you wouldn't think you would be saying, but Cortland Sutton on the trick play there. Gorgeous little 4th down pickup. Kind of wonder, Sean, man, let's save some of this. Our game next week means a lot more than right now being up 28-7. But you'll take it whenever you can get it, man. That's a great little play there. So I as to your point there about the dominance of this defensive line, it had been since Bradley Chubb, since the Denver Broncos had a single player get over 10 sacks in a season. And now it's like we could have 4 of them do it this year. We saw Nick Benito match Von Miller's number of consecutive games with the sack at 6 games in a row. That's wild. So that next week, if he gets Lamar Jackson down, he breaks Von Miller's record for consecutive games with a sack. And we've just seen that player really come in. Let's see. Audric Estime up the middle, hangs onto the ball. That's great. Audric has been dropping a lot of balls and fumbling quite a bit. So that's great. As we are approaching the 2-minute warning and my delivery of some Uncrustables in here. If you're in here and watching, would you smash that like button for us? It'll help the YouTube algorithm get this out to everybody in Broncos country that we're going to be reacting and going through the highs, lows, water buffaloes of this Denver Broncos trouncing of a team that we really should have beat. So,
if I may, real quick, just hop in. I'm serious, Broncos country. If you're next time you're having a bad day, I'm dead serious. I want you to go do this for me, okay? You're having a bad day. It's Monday morning. Just typical Monday blues, whatever. All right. You're gonna pull up the ESPN stats on the Denver Broncos, and you're gonna filter it by sack totals. And then you're just going to walk. I don't want you to don't even worry about the numbers right now. Just go look at it. All right. And just look at the Broncos logos on the side of the screen. That'll just brighten up your day. Who's here?
I got some special deliveries here. So, Yeah, can you say go Broncos?
Go Broncos!
Go Broncos! Some special deliveries. Again, if you're new here, I challenged folks on my 1-year anniversary on Sports Talk Denver that if I had 500 likes on that video, that I would eat 9 Uncrustables, which is the typical amount that a Broncos player eats each and every day, which is just wild to me. And I got 1,000 likes. Can you believe that? And so
Hope you're hungry.
I'm very hungry. I'm gonna eat like I'm Bo Nix, baby, because I believe. So we got several flavors here. We went and we supported the owner, just shopping at Walmart. You know what I mean? And here we got a couple different flavors here. This one is Nutella filled, and then this one is this is Chiefs Red. Why would you bring this in here? Do they not make an orange flavored Uncrustable? All right. Well, I guess I'll do it. Which one am I doing first?
This one.
Yeah.
I think this one is better.
Oh, did he just fumble? Oh, that was Cortland Sutton.
Oh yeah, they just called it a fumble
Eat
and
it.
recovered.
Okay,
Eat it.
here goes number 1.
Was that really a football move?
Daddy.
Oh man, here we go.
You've never had one in your life, right?
Nope, this is the first time. I'll give my live reaction. Oh man, how am I gonna do 9 of these? It's very dry.
Hey, somebody let us know in the
Well,
comments
you are allowed
if
to have
Estimate
lettuce.
just fumbled.
You know that.
Did you see that play?
I think it was Cortland, right? Oh, Cortland.
No, before that. Before
Oh,
that.
Oh my goodness.
Recovered by the Broncos. They put the stat up, and so I just wondered. I wondered if we missed that
Are they good?
while you were getting
If they are,
Uncrustables
I'll
out
eat
there.
one.
I'll be honest, that's really good. The Nutella flavored, highly recommend this Nutella flavored.
Hey, so while you're eating stuff in your face with a bunch of Uncrustables,
Is it
as
good?
you do,
Very good.
and there's DJ
Yeah.
Jones to the
That's
49ers.
good.
are
Wait,
hoping to
I want
take
to try one.
While,
Peanut
while
Uncle
you're
Nick's
eating
nice.
Uncrustables over there, okay,
Wait, can
I
I
just-
eat one?
I want to ask you a question. What's the percentage of weight Uncrustables are to your actual weight? Like, you can't be more than like 125 pounds. So,
Well,
I mean,
I played a little college football. You probably can tell. And so I'm 6'4", 220, or 5'10", 160, somewhere in
what
there.
percentage of your body weight are you eating Uncrustables today?
Like a lot, and it's so dry, dude. Okay, so the start of this game, when DJ or Lil Jordan Humphreys fumbled, they go up 7-0. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna eat 9 Uncrustables in a Broncos loss, and then from there on, it was like nothing but blue skies and green grass for us. So, all right, 1 down.
Hey, credit
Max
to
eats
the
to
Denver
go.
Broncos for handling that, by the way.
I think he's gonna eat that.
In that exact play, in that situation, right? Okay, so you let the fumble go. You're kind of upset as a Broncos fan, I'm sure. And then they look to be like Bryce Young, and this offense looks to be creating something. Chuba's getting, 4 or 5 yards of carry in that first drive. And it looks like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough day for the Denver Broncos, who historically this season so far have had pretty bad first quarters. And then the Denver Broncos turned that around. And that's the thing that I want to tell you, as a 49ers fan, that is not, you can't underrate that as a fan, because that is a mentality that's coaching. There's more there. And I've watched the 49ers drop multiple leads this season against the Los Angeles Rams, NFC West rivals, against the Arizona Cardinals, NFC West rivals, dropping games they should be winning. And I got to give you credit, Broncos country, because you guys turned that around quickly. You figured that out and were able to start gaining some traction on offense, which was important. I thought the opening couple plays looked good, looked bright until that fumble. So credit to the Broncos for that one. How many are you down over there, by the way?
I'm 2 in. I mean, what's wild is I'm already very full, and I'm nowhere close to the number of touchdowns from Bo Nix today. So that's pretty wild, right? That it's gonna take me a while to even eat the number of Uncrustables that Bo Nix had touchdowns. What do you have? 3 so far? What, 3 in the air, 1 on the ground, and looked unstoppable, right? Unstoppable. What was his final number?
Yeah,
there?
3 in the air. I'm trying to remember the one on the ground.
Yeah, he did the Drew Brees sky it out.
Oh
here,
yeah.
Let me reenact it with this Uncrustable. He just did this, but with the ball over it. Okay, see a comment here that I will hide from my kids. But it is bow time for sure. It is bow time. Are we gonna? No, I'm not hiding anything. We almost get a safety on the play there.
I was just going to ask you about that. How many safeties the Broncos have this season? They started off the season with like that double safety game, right?
Totally against.
Was that the first game of the season?
Yep, against Seattle, and
Yeah, that
we
was
had
crazy.
them down, kind of pinned deep. It's safety territory right here. Let's see if we can get one. Because we have
Hey.
third and 8 for Bryce Young.
While you're talking about Bo Nix, 28 for 37 so far, 284 yards, 3 TDs, as you mentioned there in the passing game, another touchdown as a rush touchdown. And those 2 sacks, I'm a little annoyed by. Like, I feel like they were preventable. And I want to ask you, because you've got the knowledge.
This is how a real football glove would look, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's probably grippy,
All right,
too.
you guys want to head up now? I'll call you back down in a few, okay? Thank you for delivering
they
my
got a first down.
Uncrustables.
That's a bummer.
You guys are the best.
But you have
So I want to ask you, though, Bo Nix's drop back is crazy. Is that on him, or is that on the offensive line, both of those sacks? The first one there where he kind of pump fakes and then takes a sack right after that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So that was what's crazy is that's Sean Payton's biggest pet peeve. It's what he hated about Russell Wilson. That first sack, without a doubt, was his fault. And the second one was very like Peyton Manning self-sacky, but and I think a lot of people, as you try to write off this win for the Broncos, because that's what the haters are going to do. Like, oh, congrats, you beat the Panthers. But dude, I'm telling you, they didn't have Jadeveon Clowney for most of the season, and he's back. They didn't have Josie Jewell, and you just saw what a difference those guys made. Yeah. And the Broncos still just won 28-7 against a team that has a quarterback, whose biggest fear is over, and he's like playing to get back in the league. And I think this is a fantastic win. We have so much confidence at our back right now, man. It's wild.
I know that the Broncos are on defense right now, but and interrupt me if anything big happens, because I think you're like 2 seconds ahead of me. Maybe a little more.
I'm so far ahead of you. Oh man.
How far are you in? How far in are you?
I'm on Uncrustable 3, and I'm really starting to feel it. This was a bad choice.
You're 33% in, and you're struggling.
This LaCroix is not making it go down easy. I'm starting to sweat.
You got the Uncrustable sweats going on.
It's kind of like the meat sweats, but a lot sugarier.
Guys, they put a graphic up on the screen. I tried to snap a picture of it, and I didn't get it in time. But how about Bo Nix? I mean, there's a lot of rookie quarterbacks this season. It reminds me of the season. Oh, geez, I'm blanking on his name. From the Colts. Great quarterback.
Andrew Luck.
Yeah. Reminds me of that year where there were so many quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I mean, I don't remember the exact stat anymore, but I remember in the first round of the draft, like 6 quarterbacks in the first how many picks or something like that. And to have so many rookie quarterbacks, and you got, of course, Caleb Williams is the guy that everybody's going to compare all the other rookie quarterbacks to, because he was the first overall draft pick. But you got to give some massive credit to Bo Nix. He hasn't been perfect. Nobody would expect any rookie quarterback to be perfect, or at least they shouldn't. But my goodness, this guy's been incredible. This is going to be his 5th win. He's a stud.
Dude, I mean, 5 out of 6. We started slow. Everybody knew we were going to start slow. And yeah, we've won 5 out of 6 games that we shouldn't have even been in. That we were 10-point underdogs in a lot of those games. And in the games that he's lost, we've been in 1-score games with playoff teams. And that's the part that you look right now, that we just beat the brakes off of this team that played Caleb Williams earlier this season, and Caleb didn't put up the kind of numbers that Bo Nix did. And you look at what Caleb Williams is doing now, finally playing a difficult team. And I didn't see that game still going now as well, but he hasn't done anything right now. You see Drake May not able to, step up and be that. JJ hasn't played. Jaden looks great, but I think the NFL is going to figure that out real quick here as Bryce drops back. Looks like that'll kind of wrap it up here for your Denver Broncos, securing another win. I mean,
hey, I'll throw in there while you're talking about Caleb Williams, and you're going to keep taking more bites because I know you need to. Caleb Williams is 10 for 23 right now. He's got the football after the 2-minute warning. We'll see what happens, but he's 10 for 23, 130 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And Jaden Daniels, 18 for 34. Not a whole lot better there, but for 250 yards. So you'll take that, of course. while you're bringing up Caleb Williams.
And
he's figuring things out, though. I wouldn't write him off. He's still downstream of the 49ers. Is he? Do you guys play them this season?
The Bears, no. Nope. We play our only NFC. We got a couple NFC. We still have to play the Falcons. And I think that's our last NFC team that we have. Dude, just massive shout out to Smuckers. Great company, family owned, I think, and operated. I don't. They might become a sponsor, but not when I puke them up on a live stream. I'm 4 in. No, I'm 3.5 in. I only have to eat 9.3 though, because that's the number that the typical Denver Bronco does eat in a day. How do they do that, man? Like, that's pretty wild.
Well,
that's a lot.
I'll give you your first step. Step number 1: don't try and eat 9 in one sitting. That's the first step, my man.
Oh man.
So that'll be the end of the game there. Is yours already over on your side?
Yeah, I mean, they just scored a garbage touchdown there. 18 seconds left, so
you're not worried about that.
We'll kneel down and get out of there with the win.
By a rookie quarterback in Broncos history. Bo Nix, 5.
Say that louder for the people in the back, my man.
Most wins by a rookie quarterback in Broncos history. Bo Nix with 5.
Wait, so like more than John Elway?
More than John Elway.
Wild, baby. And so when Sean Payton said he was going to be better at this than everybody else, when our win total before the season opened, you could have got it at 4.5 and you would have just hit the over. And we aren't out of October yet, baby. Like, this train is just getting rolling right now. And write all these off that you want, but there were 3 1-6 teams going into today, all of whom were underdogs. 2 of them won on the road. One of them didn't, and that is your Denver Broncos. I guess Cleveland won at home, but
best start since 2016. Did you just see that stat?
Oh, did I see it? I saw it. You better believe I saw it.
I'm sure on one hand you guys feel really good about that, but are you not a little distraught when you think about the 13 different quarterbacks you guys have had since Peyton Manning? 13 starting quarterback. One of those wasn't a quarterback, right?
Yeah. I think you were on mute, Nate. Nobody heard that. Just kidding, you weren't, but we tried to forget about it.
Jeez Louise.
But I think we found the guy. Like, Bo Nix he's proving that he is a franchise quarterback, and he is proving all of the confidence that Sean Payton had in him going into this season. He's proven why he had that kind of confidence in him,
Hey, speaking of, go ahead.
Whip us around the NFL. What are some of the other scores right now?
I'll get you to some other scores. I wanted to talk about this Denver Broncos third down stat line, because both teams, Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos, coming into the game today were at the bottom, I think 30th and 31st in third down conversion rate. And the Denver Broncos today, 11 for 17. I know it was against the Carolina Panthers, but whatever. Like, you could do that all day long. This is the NFL. There's no easy game in the NFL. There's no gimme in the NFL. We've seen upsets every single week of the season. So, the Denver Broncos, this could have been a nasty trap game, and no, didn't let it become one of those things. Denver Broncos went in there, handled business, 11 for 17 on third down. That is a recipe for success, my friend.
100%. Jason Lane, shout out to you, man. This is what I'm saying. Our defense will keep us in every game, and Bo Nix will get better and better. This defense, it's way too early to call this anywhere close to the defense we had when we had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller and Aqib Talib and Chris Harris Jr., but it's not that far back, dude. And, how many of their touchdowns that they allowed were in garbage time, and yeah, you just cannot undercount how good this defense is, and how there've been some pretty massive fall offs in the AFC that coming into the season, I thought the AFC, it was going to be hard to get there. And you just see the Colts lose again today. You see the Bengals lose again today. And and you even just see what's the score of that Raiders game right now?
It's over 27-20 Chiefs. Sorry. And I want to apologize to Broncos country as a 49ers fan that we could not only could we not get it done for you, as we desperately needed to do. Seriously. But we couldn't get it done for ourselves. I know Broncos country loves the Shanahan family, appreciates the Shanahan tree, And for Kyle Shanahan to be 0-5 against Andy Reid, it's brutal, guys. It's brutal. We're feeling it. But sorry that we couldn't get it done for you. And not only could we not get it done, we couldn't even make it close. Couldn't even beat up the Chiefs and make it hard on them. That was disappointing. You asked about other scores around the league. Bills beat the Seahawks 31-10. Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. As we wait for a total count on how far you are on the Uncrustables, Texans beat the Colts 23-20. Packers beat the Jaguars at home. That was a crazy game at the end there, 30-27. Falcons and the Buccaneers 31-26. Falcons win. Patriots, of course, beat the Jets, which is insane. The Jets are 2-6 right now. 2-6. And Patriots get a win there, which is nuts. Then the Cardinals. And guys, we got to talk about the Jets for like a New York minute. Tell us how many Uncrustables you are. And we got to talk about the Jets. This is nuts, dude.
So, hey, if you're here, we got 64 here. Smash that like button if you believe in the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix getting better and better every single week. We're winning games that we should win, but that is a new thing for the Denver Broncos. And that's something you can't look past any team in the NFL, you guys. Like, this is something that I'm passionate, obviously, about and have been calling since the start of the season. But the playoffs are looking more and more like an inevitability. I'm trying to add Bo to it. But if we play like this, dude, who can't we beat? Like, truly, who can't we beat? Nobody is going to discount the Chiefs' victory over the Raiders. Like, a hard-fought win for the Chiefs. When we beat the Raiders, everyone's like, oh, yeah, but they're not any good. Like, you can't just tell us that the teams we're beating aren't good, and then when other people beat them, give them credit for it. Like, we just beat the Saints when they had more to play and less injuries, more handily than the Chargers beat them. And as I'm sick of the disbelief, man, because we looked stinking good. And I'm rounding the corner. I'm well over halfway to my goal, which is 9.3 Uncrustables. I've got 5 down. So that in my math, what is that? I got 4 and a bite. Is like a bite 0.3, you think?
Dude, I'm really, really worried about your...
Yeah, I feel like my blood sugar is spiking. How do I know?
Exactly.
I can't feel like my toes right now.
So while you go crazy
for the
on
people
those,
new, smash that like button. I'm taking one for the fam. I knew if I didn't do this, the Broncos were going to somehow lose. And so I'm eating 9.3 Uncrustables for the fam.
I just want to give a quick Broncos appreciation post here. As I mentioned earlier, the Denver Broncos come into this game the second best defensive line in the league when it comes to sack totals, having 5 guys better than the best Panthers sack total member, and just absolutely destroying their defensive line. And you see so many games this season where the defensive line has been critical. And as they continue to develop, and I got to give you credit because this is not just, Von Miller is really, really good, and whoever's on the opposite side, benefits from Von Miller being really good. This is a really, really good. This is an elite defensive line, and it's coming from every single position. So that's dangerous, guys. That's massively dangerous. If you're a team going up against the Denver Broncos right now, and that's something you're thinking about a lot about. What's my quarterback going to do in a muddy pocket? What's my quarterback going to do when they have to scramble and get out of the pocket? And that's definitely a feature, probably one of the biggest features. Statistically, it's the biggest feature for the Denver Broncos right now. Obviously, I think stats do have their limits. And looking at Bo Nix, who's at times struggled this season, but he's out there absolutely balling out. And when I say at times, I mean, we're talking, let's see here. Among quarterbacks, he's 22nd in the league. That number is going to change very much after this game. Javonte Williams, I was kind of down on his stats, and then just looking at how things have been going with Julio McLaughlin and them kind of sharing snaps a lot more. That's probably not a fair stat to put against Javonte. And in the first half of the game, Javonte wasn't really moving the ball as much as I'd expect him to. That seems to be the thing that the Panthers were coming after and really trying to plan for. But you know what the Denver Broncos did? They did something incredible. They got this guy, Adam Troutman, with 85 yards on 4 passes.
I think he was hearing all about how the Broncos were going to make a trade for Njoku this week and was like, hey, you got a pretty good tight end here right now, and I'm about to prove it to all y'all on National Tight End Day. I mean, he looked legit today. I still think that the Broncos just proved that winning isn't our future. And if the Broncos could go out and make a move, I know the Browns just won a game and they might convince themselves like, hey, we could win. Let's hang on to them. But bro, if we could get Njoku, I would be thrilled. But you just saw like Lucas Kroll looked good. You know, Bo had 2 touchdown passes to tight ends today. So maybe it's not that bad of a room, you know? And to your point there about like, you know, Bo Nix's overall ranking, he's a rookie. One of those games was literally in a monsoon in New York when he outdueled and played better than Aaron Rodgers, which everybody is. Oh, man. This Uncrustable, that was number 1, 2. Oh, dude, I'm already at 6. I got it because I got a couple of the Nutella ones, and those ones go down easy. Real smooth. All right.
I just want to restate for the record for everyone who wasn't here earlier that I don't recommend that you have 9.3 Uncrustables in one sitting. The Denver Broncos don't even do that. I know you're doing this because the Denver Broncos eat a lot of Uncrustables, but they don't eat it in one sitting, Ben.
Yeah, they do. I bet they do. I bet. You want to know why Bo Nix balled out of control today? 9.3 Uncrustables, and that is my secret winning formula. So as we're going here, officially game's over now. Broncos win, advance to 2 games over 500 with the bulk of our hard games coming up here. But let us know in the comments where y'all watching from. And then we're going to react to like our highs, our lows, our water buffaloes, and what it means for the Broncos going forward. My main man co-hosting here with me, since I'm going to have some peanut butter to the roof of my mouth, is Nate, who is my brother-in-law and my brother-in-love. And he's also a diehard Broncos fan, but also he's FTTB. What does that mean, Nate?
You got it. You did it. Faithful to the Bay. There you go. FTTB.
And I feel like of all the NFC teams, like that's the one we can get down with, right? Because of Shanahan, because of John Lynch.
Yeah, it's easy to be a fan of both teams and history. Both teams have great history. Not a ton against each other. There's a little bit in there. But, you know, look, we're talking about the Denver Broncos today. You came to this channel because you want to hear about the Denver Broncos. You want to check out the 49ers, go to Sports Talk San Francisco. I'm there for you. And if you don't want to watch Ben eat a million Uncrustables, you know where to go. But let's talk about those Denver Broncos, guys. So, you know, looking at the game, looking at how this defense stacks up in general in the NFL, and looking at my notes throughout the game. Second drive, big stop. Third drive, fourth drive, fifth drive, sixth drive. I'm just seeing all of these defensive drives. I'm seeing big stop, great stop, big move. Like on all of these drives, that's because the Denver Broncos are just getting it done. And I understand it's against weak offense, if you will. Chuba Hubbard's not a weak player. And they were working really hard to get the running game going. And if the running game gets going for the Panthers, it makes things a lot easier for Jaden Daniels to hit his wideouts, who at times drop the ball, which is their problem. But the Broncos also had a few drops there. So I'm going to call that even Stevens. And we're not going to let the drops tell the story in this game, because I feel like this was a completely fair matchup. And the Broncos made it completely unfair by absolutely destroying the Carolina Panthers, and Broncos country should be loving it right now. By the way, I live in Broncos country. I've lived here for 15 years or something like that. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. I think it is actually 15 years now, something like that. And
happy 15th year, Nate.
Thanks, man. Thank you. And it's been fun. You know, I married into a Broncos family. I have 2 kids that were born in Broncos country. So, of course, they've got Broncos gear, and I have affinity to both sides. There's nothing wrong with that. My goodness, guys. My goodness. Denver Broncos are here. This is a real team. This is a real team. And you opened up talking about my concern for the Denver Broncos at the beginning of the season and asking you, what are we supposed to do? You know, looking at what the national media says about the Denver Broncos and what you're saying. And I'm just looking on like as a buddy of yours and as a fan, like just trying to understand what's the disconnect. And you were on it. You were 100% right. And as you said, not like you were manufacturing anything, but you were absolutely right that this football team is a heck of a lot better than anyone was giving them credit for. They were ranked 31st in the NFL, second only to the Carolina Panthers as being the worst team. And I believe at one point it flip-flopped and the New England Patriots were on the absolute bottom. But whatever the case is, you are completely different Denver Broncos fans. This is a completely different football team than the New England Patriots, who did have a nice win against the Jets. Congrats, 2-6 Jets. But and the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-7 now. Crazy. This is nuts.
Totally, man. All right, so we got people from all over the place. We got Grand Junction in the house. We got Utah in the house. Where I saw some other places that were cool. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Let's get the likes up here. I'm two and a bite away from my goal. So I'm trying to pace myself because it's starting to hit, I think, like the upper part of my intestines is where it's kind of working its way through right now.
Yeah, those details are great.
Yep.
Great details, Ben.
Perfect.
Because I haven't eaten dinner yet, and that's exactly what I want to hear as I'm getting ready for that.
We got Orlando. Vegas? Oh, man. I am sorry that you are living in Vegas, man. We got Missouri, Virginia. We got everybody. I didn't know YouTube went this far. Did you know that, Nate?
I did know that because last time you did a live stream where you asked where everyone was from, I was pretty amazed, like Singapore and all over the world, man.
Yeah, man.
Nuts.
Okay, so
drink any milk.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why I would want to drink milk. I don't have a ton of room left in my stomach. That pure organic white bread is kind of hitting my stomach and kind of expanding like this Denver Broncos offense. Okay, and that's really what we've seen here is like an explosion of this Denver Broncos offense. We see, we didn't see. I think I maybe manufactured a thought of like, oh, Bo Nix really could be Drew Brees, and I was saying that because I wanted it, not necessarily because I actually believed it could happen. It's what we saw today, and I'm not going to let anyone rain on the parade and be like, this was the Panthers, because like I said earlier, there were multiple 1-6 teams today that shocked the world and won. That the Patriots at 1-6 won. The Browns beat the Ravens with a backup quarterback, with tons of injuries, with a team that's quit. And so I just think like we truly have the recipe here for long-term success. And that's the other exciting part if you're a Broncos fan, is that we're not just going to be good now, that we're going to be good from now on, because we have a ton of cap money this offseason that we get to spend. I think we're number 7 in the league for what we get to spend. So imagine once we fill out this roster, Sean Payton got the quarterback he wants. What's going to happen when he gets the receivers that he wants, when he gets a running back that he wants? Like, it's going to be absolutely wild to see.
Yeah, while you're on that, by the way, you need to keep eating those because I've got another football game I got to get to in a few minutes here.
Yeah, let's preview it, man. Tell me, we won't hate you if you stop eating it. You know what? I'm a man of my word, like Sean Payton, and I said I'm going to eat 9.3, and Sean Payton said we're going to make the playoffs. And you know what? We both are going to honor our word. So I'm going to do there.
I'm happy to talk 49ers if you want, but
no.
Let me say one more thing about the Broncos first, because everyone's here to listen to the Broncos chat. I know where you're here for. This is crazy, guys. So coming into the game, the Denver Broncos are 15th in the league in first downs. They get 23 first downs tonight. Okay? Coming into the game, the Denver Broncos are 25th in passing yards, get 300 passing yards tonight, 298. Crazy. I vote Uncrustable. That's a great comment. Denver Broncos are 5th in tackles, destroyed in tackles. I'm looking. I lost my stat on the tackles there, but it was a lot. It was a lot of tackles. Denver Broncos, their defense was outstanding today, and the defensive line is what I keep coming back to. That I feel like is right now it's maybe the biggest X factor that the Broncos have. And you mentioned losing Josie Jewell being one of those guys, and the first part of the game, like you always have to go back to the context, because you look at the game now and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's the Panthers. They destroyed them. Like, no, in the first part of the game, the Denver Broncos were down 7-0, and Josie Jewell was present in the moment. He looked like he was owning the middle of the field, and the Denver Broncos found a way, namely, especially in that first half through tight ends, which was fantastic.
Well, and
Incredible to watch.
You look at yeah, Josie Jewell had a reason to play. The Broncos could have offered him a deal and they didn't. You take that personally. He talked about how he took it personally. Then Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator for Carolina Panthers, they have been absolutely lambasted all year long. And he's part of that coaching staff that Sean Payton said was the worst coaching staff in the history of the NFL. So you know that he was dialing it up even more. When you go up 7-0 on the road and you see that 2 other 1-6 teams won, you know that gives you like a sense of like, oh, we do have the overall number 1 draft pick that everyone said was supposed to be the future of the NFL. They had every reason to like be up 7-0 and be like, hey, let's turn this thing on. And they just weren't good enough because the Denver Broncos are legit. And that right there to me is the proof that we're not just like getting lucky on these things, that even when the deck is stacked against us and we're down 7-0 and we could fold. Happened against the Raiders where we're about to go down 17-0. Good teams find a way to win, and we certainly did that, and you just can't underestimate this team going forward. You can't underestimate what 8 Uncrustables. This is number 9, and then I got 1 bite left. This is feeling real good.
Let me hop in on that. You can't underestimate, because they put that stat up during the game. Since the Super Bowl 50, the Broncos are 56-82 with 1 winning season. They've had 13 starting quarterbacks. Let's talk about Bo Nix. My goodness. I think you're right, dude. I think you guys found your quarterback. And we got to talk about the scramble ability of him, which you didn't see a ton of. Didn't need it a lot tonight. Almost felt like Sean Payton was like, dude, it's not worth it. Their defensive line is trash, 31st in the NFL. Just don't scramble. Just stay in the pocket. Do your thing. And they put this stat up during the game too. Bo Nix is scrambling. First in the league in scrambling for first downs. Second in the league in scrambling for touchdowns. Third in the league scrambling in rush yards. That's your quarterback, Broncos country. That's your starting quarterback.
Yeah, and that's why it did kind of scare me when he had that one gorgeous run, and I thought he was getting in on that, and he ended up scoring on the next one. But he is our franchise quarterback, and I would like to maybe see him make some business decisions on some of those, because there was that one, and I'm watching with my kids who just delivered these Uncrustables to me, and they're like, Dad, they're choking Bo Nix. And like, he had a fist to the head. His helmet was turned sideways. And I remember so clearly watching Tim Tebow get hurt on one of those in the preseason. And then the same thing happened to Drew Lock. So I love it. And I feel like he's got insane escapability, but like, let's dial it back a little bit here.
Yeah.
One
of the biggest things. Oh, go ahead, please.
Shout out Sports Fans Productions, man. He's a believer and he likes Uncrusties too. I think this is a great point here. Carousel's over.
Ended our quarterback carousel. Now we just need to build around him. Yeah, I think you're right. The carousel's been real.
This one, Nate?
Troy Franklin can't catch, huh?
Dude, I mean, that's twice, man, that Bo Nix has dropped absolute dots and he's alligator armed him.
No,
and I know, like
Franklin dropped him.
Yeah. When you are in a full out trot, dude, you're sprinting. You have to stop your hands and get him out there. But man, he is. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I don't know, man. But that's the second time that they're absolute. You couldn't, and even also, I'm also so over the B, C, D, E squad of play-by-play announcers. Like, now you got to start giving us people who people have heard of, because I'm sick of the mispronunciations of our name, and we don't even get talked about on any national show. I listen to Bill Simmons, Ryan Russillo, The Ringer. Like, I listen to all of them. Nobody gives us a second even thought, and no one has even started being like, I'm wrong. They're going to now, man, because we're going to beat Baltimore next week.
You said this to me. You said this to me just a couple days ago. How crazy would it be coming into the season? 49ers are going up against the Dallas Cowboys, right? I know, different conference. I get it. But you said this to me before the season. We would have sat down, picked our win-loss records. I did pick my win-loss record. And never in a million years would I have thought this is the situation we'd be in, where the San Francisco 49ers could go up against the Dallas Cowboys tonight, who are in absolute desperation and could lose this game. Like, this is not a guaranteed win. And the Cowboys are actually playing better away than they are at home this season, obviously. i.e. last weekend. But 2 weekends ago, I guess they had a bye week. So Dallas coming off a bye, 49ers are in a really tight spot. Could be 3-5 while the Denver Broncos are 5-3. I just to point out what you're talking about there. Which team is getting more conversation in the national media right now? It's definitely not the Denver Broncos.
Dude. Exactly, man. And yeah, I think that all changes because if we keep this momentum going, the other thing that I think has to have you insanely excited is I'm picking up this pattern, you guys, that Sean Payton is him. He is an offensive genius. You heard Dick Vermeil say he's the offensive coach of the decade, along with Andy Reid. He is your favorite coach's favorite coach. Like, he is a great coach. And the more familiar he gets with a system, the better he does. And so you look like, hey, we dropped some early to the Raiders, and then he figured out the Raiders and we mollywopped them. And one of the reasons we went in and dominated in Tampa was that was a division rival. He knew that team so well. One of the reasons we dominated the Saints was he knew that team so well. So he is going to figure out the Chargers and what they're doing. He already has what Kansas City is doing. He's got that figured out. He broke the streak last year. And so you got to be insanely excited. Nate, I got one more bite of here. Talk to me about trade people, candidates on the Broncos to trade away, because there are a lot of people asking about Courtland Sutton. He wasn't targeted last week. You all lost a wide receiver, but dude, Courtland Sutton, he had like 100 yards and almost had that in the first half, right? Our defensive line is so deep that it's ridiculous, and we can't keep Cooper and oh my goodness, Cooper, Jones, Baron Browning, and Jonathan or Zach Allen for like the long term, and John Franklin-Meyer, Malcolm Roach and DJ Jones. So like, who do you think people would be interested in specifically with your team?
Well, 49ers are interested in a lot of players, according to reports, and I think for the Denver Broncos, the two guys that stick out are Courtland Sutton. There's been some links there. If you don't remember in the news, the San Francisco 49ers reportedly offered a third-round draft pick to Sean Payton for Courtland Sutton at the beginning of the season, which is crazy when you look at it now, right? Because now the 49ers have so many stinking injuries. I literally had to make a list because I was afraid I'd forget guys. That's how many injuries that the 49ers have. They just lost Brandon Ayuk, who's, last year was their number one wide receiver. Deebo Samuel was in the hospital with pneumonia until Tuesday, and he's questionable for the game tonight. Then you have George Kittle was questionable for the game tonight. You have who am I missing, dude? There's another big wide receiver name that I'm missing. Oh, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
Missing him again tonight. And it's starting to get concerning for him because he has a hip thing that usually it's either a muscle thing or it's kind of a big deal. And so since it's not a muscle thing, two weeks later, it's kind of a big deal. So there's some definite concerns there. And I think the 49ers would be a little bit crazy to try and let the entire season rely on Ricky Pearsall, who just came back from a gunshot wound. Not his fault, but that's the reality. And Jacob Cowing, who's only actually started as a wide receiver one game this season. And you're going to ask a whole lot out of these two young guys, plus guys like Ronnie Bell, who can't catch a football. Worse than Franklin. I'm dead serious when I say that. I know that's saying a lot. So, yeah, I think Courtland Sutton would be the guy. The problem is if Sean Payton wouldn't take a third, then the Denver Broncos know the 49ers are going to be pretty eager, and they're going to be pretty desperate. So they're not going to take anything more than that, and I just can't see the 49ers giving anything more than a third for Courtland Sutton. So it's not going to happen there.
We would move on from him maybe for a first, and even then, after you saw this, and after you the playoffs are a legit thing, you guys, and you want your wide receiver one. We saw that today with how he showed up, and I think last week, man, the way he was encouraging teammates even after 0 targets, the way he was pulling Bo Nix up off of that pile. He is a team first guy in a me first position, and that's fantastic. Hey, when you're a guest in somebody's house, you either take off your shoes or you wipe your feet. And so my main man Graf, who does Raiders channel, always tells people on his lives, wipe them feet. So that means so the like on a YouTube live is like taking off your shoes or wiping your feet when you come in. So if you guys could like it, that'd be awesome. Let's start counting these out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here is the last 0.3. And I mean, Nate, this hits different, dude. Like it
And to be
seemed
clear,
daunting.
you've never had an Uncrustable in your entire life until today. Is that right?
And now I've done 9. Without a doubt, the hazelnut one, way better, but a ton of sugar, and I feel lightheaded. And my face is getting red. Like I truly have the Uncrustable sweats, but it's worth it for this team because the Broncos are making the playoffs. And I would eat 9 Uncrustables a day for the rest of the season for the Broncos to make the Super Bowl. Like I really would. Nate, you know how much I bleed orange and blue. Do you have any doubt that I would do that?
No, I don't have any doubt. 100%.
Okay, here it is. So like just one big bite. Okay.
The anticipation's killing me. Wow. That's a big last bite. That's a lot more than 0.3, dude.
We go hard here. That is like
I'm impressed.
what Bo Nix is doing to this league. And this is like Nikola Jokic smile. Like I'm the Joker. Does that work?
He needs some guys to get around him to have a little more smiles. More smiles.
Man, we'll have to do that again. Cool. Let's honey. That would have been good. I didn't even know I could have bought a different flavor. Well, massive shout out to everyone who's here. Thank you so much for coming by. Nate, thank you for this. It's been an awesome year on YouTube. Make sure you check out if you are interested whatsoever in the 49ers. Nate does an awesome job. I will link that in the when I edit this live stream, but also just check out Sports Talk 49ers or Sports Talk San Francisco. What is it called?
San Francisco. Sports Talk San Francisco. You got it.
Cool,
you
man. Well, Broncos.
If you need an NFC team to feel better about yourself, there you go.
Guys, we're making the playoffs. We're beating teams that we're supposed to beat, but any win in the NFL is good. We are 2 games over 500. We have a massive game next week. We're going to beat Baltimore on the road, and then the national media is finally going to start talking about us. Thank you all for being here in Broncos country. We have a ton to believe in.